Okay, so here's an additional video to help you with your project part 2 that's due at the end of week 7. I want to focus on showing you how to use our Excel in order to find and complete your hypothesis testing. For your project, there are a few things that you're going to need. The announcements, I've posted a couple things, the worksheet and the data, but it's all in your Files tab. So in Files, under Course Documents, you're going to need your project data sheet open, and you're also going to want this worksheet. So the worksheet, when it pops up, is similar to what you saw in week 6. This is what you're going to submit to me. In the Excel calculators, you're going to want the descriptives Excel worksheet, because then that is going to allow you to find all of those summary values at the beginning. So this descriptive sheet, and then you're also going to want the hypothesis testing template. I'm going to open this one up with you because I want to show you when it opens that if it comes up with this yellow label, you need to click Enable Editing in order for you to be able to work in it. The other thing I need you to note is down here at the bottom, what you're looking at now is just the population proportion. We want to use a t-test because we do not know the sample standard deviation. So notice down here in the bottom, if I click this left arrow, I get all of the tests, and I want the t-test. So this is what I need opened up in order to start on the test. So what I did is I shrunk my documents so that they would be side by side and I could work on them together. Okay, so I'm just going to go through one of the hypothesis tests with you. This is not your data, so don't copy my numbers because then you'll get it wrong. Okay, so make sure you use our data set that is in our course documents folder. So when I bring up, in order to do the summary here, you have all of these values. So I'm just, again, shrunk it so I can work on it side by side. And if I scroll up, we have our births. So I'm just going to click on the first one and copy on down. And I can hit Control-C, and it will copy that column for me. And I'm going to open up the descriptives one and hit Control-V. And these are blue cells when you come in. I apologize. So click it into the blue cells. So now I shrunk that one down again. He doesn't want to move, but he needs to, right? I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. And so under births, notice it says to the nearest whole number. Okay? So we're just going to copy these numbers. The mean, I can tab through the table, the median, the sample standard deviation, the minimum, and the maximum. Whoops. One, two, three. And then our sample size is 52. So here I have the mean, the median, the minimum, the maximum, and then I know my sample size. Okay? And from there, you would do like the deaths, the marriages, divorces. So just one more time, pop back into our data set. If I hit escape, that'll stop that from spinning. And if I go to deaths, I can do the same thing. Just click and drag all the way to the bottom. You hit Control-C, go back into your descriptives, and at the very top under data, hit Control V, and it'll drop those numbers in there for you, so that then you can come over to the deaths, and you can, again, just tabbing through, put your values in. Same sample size, okay? Now, once you get all of these in, then you're going to answer your hypothesis test and create your own. So let's go through this first one here. Determine if there is sufficient evidence to conclude the average amount of births is over 5,000. Here's everything that you're expected to do. Notice that when you set your hypothesis, you also have to identify the claim. You can circle the right inequality or just erase the incorrect ones. When we read births over 5,000, that represents births greater than 5,000. And then at the end of this, you just want to write that this is your claim. Make sure that you identify that. And if the alternative is greater than, then that means that my null is less than or equal to. Okay? Then you have to decide what kind of test you want. You can use your draw feature up here to circle it. I'm okay if you just take these three words, change the color, and just make it noted that you know that this is a right-tailed test because this points to the right. Okay? So the next step is to determine the rejection region. So we have to find the critical value. To find the critical value in Excel, just open up a blank Excel sheet, and you're going to, you can go up here to formulas if you don't want to use the equals, and then you can find in this one right here, you can browse to statistical, and you go all the way down, and you're going to use this norms inverse, which means that you have a standard normal distribution. And all you have to do is click on that, and it wants the probability cumulative from the left. So cumulative from the left, if this is a right-tailed test, means that I'm putting 5% in the right tail. So cumulative from the left, I would have 95%. And you want to round this to 2 decimal places, is what it says in the form, okay? If it's a 2-tailed test, then remember that means that you would cut this 0.05 in half. So you would have 0.025 in each tail. So this would be, cumulative from the left would just be 0.025. So if you need more with that, let me know. But this is the formula that you would use. So we're going to type in, we're going to reject the null if z is larger than 1.64. So what is the value then of the test statistic and the p-value? Well, this is where this handy-dandy hypothesis comes in. And again, make sure you're on the T, because you do not know the population standard deviation. Your sample size is 52. Your sample mean, well, we have to scroll up here because I don't remember it. I'm using the births, remember, is 5636. The sample standard deviation, the alpha was 0.05, and the hypothesis value is this number here, the 5,000. This program gives you your test statistic, so you can write that in here at 1.123. It breaks it down. Your null is less than or equal to, so your p-value is 0.1334. Well, there's two things, right? The z is not larger than 1.64. And the second thing, if you just want to use the p-value, is that the p-value is larger than 5%. I only have 5% in the tail, but the probability that the null is true is over 13%. So the p-value being larger than alpha tells us that we're going to fail to reject the null. Again, you can circle it if you want to. You can change it to a different color, bold it. Just make it known which one you're doing. And because our claim was about the alternative, you would say that there is not, and again, if you just, because it's a Word document, you can highlight these. There is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that the average amount of births is greater than 5,000. You can also type them in the lines if you want to. I have students do something different every semester, so it's just how you want to turn it in. You can get rid of all the extra stuff if you would like it to be nice and clean, but you will not lose points if you don't do this. If you just at least highlight it so I know that you understand. So I hope that this helps, and please reach out if you have any questions.